Hey y'all, Gypsy Spirit here with you, your relationship coach, giving you some advice on how to know if he really loves you. Well, I get a lot of questions all the time. People wanting to know, does he love me? Is he thinking about me? Are we ever going to get back together? And to me, those are kind of boring questions, but let me help you out a little bit. About 10 years ago, I was in a relationship with somebody. I was deeply in love with this person, and we broke up. He broke up with me after 2.5 years. We lived together, and we lived in the same town. We were 3 minutes apart, and I'm not hard to get in touch with. Of course, he had my phone number, but I'm all over the internet. And so I ran into him one day shortly after we broke up because I kept thinking, well, we're going to get back together. I wonder if we're going to get back together. I wonder if he's thinking about me. All those questions that I get all the time. And I was at the gas station and I happened to see him and I thought to myself, I had like an epiphany at that moment. And it was like, you know what? If he really wanted to be with me, he would make an effort. He would contact me. If he was thinking about me or wanting to be with me, he would make an effort. But let me tell you this story about a young couple. I guess they were in their early 30s. A couple of years ago, I was invited to do this tarot reading for a party. And the host had put me in a little private room, and people would come into the room to have their reading done. And there was a couple that came through into the room, and the guy was, I'm telling you, drop dead gorgeous. I mean, gorgeous. He could have had any woman in that place that he wanted, but he was with one woman, and they came in, and I did and they were just a fascinating couple. And they explained that they had met on a cruise about 8 months prior, and they'd met on this cruise, and she was from Spain, and he was from my hometown. He was studying to be an actor. I told him, I said, well, you're good looking enough to you could be a model, but he didn't want to be a model. He wanted to be an actor. Anyway. And she was attractive. She wasn't like, Hollywood movie star attractive, but she was attractive. And he couldn't keep his hands off. He was either touching her, holding her hand, but he was deeply in love with this woman. But he told me, and I want to say this was like in October, around October, November, he told me, he said, well, she lives in Spain and I live here, but we've decided that come March, either way, we're going to be together. Either I move to Spain or she moves to Charleston, where I'm at. But one way or the other, we're going to be together. Now that man is in love with that woman, because he had decided it didn't matter where they lived, how far apart they lived, they were going to be together. He had decided that. And I'm going to tell you something, if a man really, really wants to be with you, oh honey, he'll go out of his way to be with you. I don't care if you're on the North Pole, he will find a way to get to you, or a way to get you to him. I was just talking last night with a buddy of mine, a very dear friend of mine. She is from El Paso, Texas, and she lives here now in Charleston. And she was telling me about her husband. Very lovely man, lovely man. And they have, oh my gosh, the house. I had never been to their house, and it was so beautiful. And she was telling me the story, how they ended up here in Charleston, and he got a job, a good job over here. But she had decided, because they had a child that was still about ready to wrap up high school. The child had still 2 years left. That she was going to stay in El Paso with the child until the child got out of high school. Well, he, after some time, told her he told her that he was going back to El Paso or she was going to have to move to Charleston because he could not live without her anymore. He was done with that. He was depressed and lonely and missed her so much. And, she has even come to me a couple of times and said, I don't think my husband's cheating on me, but do you think he is? And then after meeting him and hearing this story, I was like, you don't have anything to worry about. That man's in love with you. So, my friends, before you start questioning whether or not he loves you, you need to look at what he's doing. Look at his actions. Is he planning to make a way for the two of you to be together? I'm always hearing about these long distance relationships. That long distance relationship can only go on for so long, and then something's got to give. And if he's not willing to make plans for the two of you to be together, then, honey, he's not your guy. You need to move on. Listen to those red flags. Anyway, I hope this helps. I love you all, and I will be posting something else. But I hope you take this relationship advice to heart. Now remember to make good decisions, because your decisions not just impact you, but everybody else around you. Bye-bye.